everybody out there, I'm Garrett and you're watching 11 Bang Bang. Today, the wind's gonna blow us all the way around here. Today we have the Rough Rider Rancher by Heritage. And I do like Heritage revolvers. I've had several of them, shot a few of them on the channel. We are doing a very special project with the Wild Snapper and we required the stock. And I'm not gonna go into what all that project is just yet. But it was actually cheaper, instead of me buying a walnut stock, it was actually cheaper for me to buy this whole Heritage carbine. Now, like I said, I do like Heritage. I've shot a lot of them. I ordered this one online so I couldn't see it until it got here, and it had some major issues. Still does. First of all, if you look at that sight and you line down, you'll see that the rear of the sight is way off to, as I'm shooting, to the right. I mean, like maybe half an inch almost down here. And it's not because the sight is bent, it's because the dovetail is cut in there crooked. And that is something very difficult to fix, because either now you have to heat and bend the sight back, or you've got to completely re-weld in and refill the dovetail. And let me show you here. When this got here, it even has, I don't know if you can see, right there, it still has a big burr where that dovetail job was. It's not done very well at all. I've actually heard from several people that Heritage has had some issues getting their dovetail sights in. And overall, the bluing on the top of the gun is not what I expected from Heritage. It's pretty splotchy. Worst of all, though, was two of the chambers in the cylinder were out of time because the ears on the ratchets were just way too long. I feel like this gun wasn't finished before it got here. And had I bought this gun just as a rifle, I would have been very upset. I would have probably sent it back. But since I bought this gun as a parts gun and it is going to become two different guns, I don't mind, because we're going to be doing a lot of work on it anyway. I know that not most of these are like that. Usually when you get one of these, they'll be just fine. Go out and watch Dustin Weiniger Guns of the West or Small Caliber Arms Review. They've got these guns and they love them just fine. I just happened to get a lemon, I guess. But that being said, I am going to take this lemon and I am going to shoot it, because I'm going to do a review on it. I don't know, with that sight being that far to the right, what I'm going to have to do. I'm not sure exactly where it's going to hit. I did go ahead and take that cylinder and I did file those notches down to where it's back in time for the most part. But anyway, let's shut up and shoot. What do you say? I don't know where this is going to hit, so we're going to go out 25 yards and we are going to shoot at that target out there at 25 yards, and we'll see just where it's hitting. All right, so just like any other Heritage, one of the downfalls in my opinion, got this safety. And so we're going to click that off. We are loaded up with CCI standard velocity, which is actually kind of low velocity in my opinion. But one thing you got to bear in mind, and I know you all know this, but I'm going to go over it just because you can't hold this gun out like this. You can. With a 22, you might be able to get away with it. You probably blast your arm a little bit. I've actually seen some people on the internet that have been doing that with this gun. Probably not best though, because you are going to get some hot gases out the side of that and it will burn your arm. So that's what they have this little tail here on the trigger guard for. All right, let's see. 25 yards, let's see what we're doing here. You know what? You can't pull the spur and not the trigger. All right, we are getting some major back blast from this bag here. It's blowing it back on my arm. Move my arm down. And click. I will say that down there that stuff was hitting this bag, kind of blasting back on my face just a little bit, but not bad. I don't know what kind of group that was at all. Like I said, I have no idea where that sight is. As you can see, it's way off to the right. Let's go down range. All right, guys, here's our group, 25 yards. That's not bad for that gun, 5 shots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Obviously, the sights are gonna have to be dealt with. That's way too far for it. If that was a handgun, I would say I could pull it that far, but not with a rifle. You guys saw me, you see me take a Henry and shoot 12 gauge shotgun shells at 25 yards all day, empty shotgun shells. And that's not gonna do. So I don't think I can drift those sights far enough over. So what I'm going to attempt to do is I'm gonna try to knock those sights out and just use the groove sight in the back of the gun. Let's try that and we'll be right back. The sight knocked out, and as you can see, all those burrs on that edge and the dovetail cut is just not aligned at all. I mean, come on, Heritage, you can do better than that. I know you can. A lot of times Heritage guns are pretty quality for the money you spend. This gun does cost you around $250 or so, and usually I say Heritage gets a break because when they're $150, they're cheaper than any other revolver. But when they move up into the rifle world, $250 will buy you a fairly nice Marlin Model 60. And so, you know, they're gonna have to step up their game a little bit here. Like I said, this is just a lemon. I know that a lot of other people have had way better luck than I have with this. But now we're going to just use our trench sights, the standard sights, and we are going to use our front sight, which is pretty tall, but I think we can make it work. Let's see if we can get a review on this gun now. All right, CCI, standard velocity, 25 yards with the groove sight. And you gotta remember that safety. That means I'll have to go past one. Okay, I think I see what we're doing. All right, now let's go see what we got going on. All right, guys, we got all 5 shots in here this time. This is not what I would consider good at all. We got 1 there, 2 there, 3, 4, 5. I would say that's just me, but I know I can do better than that with a rifle from that range. At least we got it in there. I may wind up putting those old sights back on, and I know they'll hang way out to one side on the front, but I might give that a try, one more try. And we'll see if I can get them aligned in any way, shape, or form, see if that helps clean this up. Okay, guys, I put this back in. Now, if you look at it, you can see it's hanging way out the side there, and it's still not dead center on the back. I'm going to give it a couple more taps here, see if I can get it even close. Myself in the head. All right, we're getting closer. Now, I do believe we are going to give that a try. Oh, my ejector rod housing's coming loose. I'll tighten up that screw and be right back with you. All right, guys, something you should always check on these when they're new. Check that ejector rod housing screw, because I have known them to fly off and parts get lost. All right, let's take one more look. We're hanging way out there on the front, and on the back we're almost centered. I'm hoping I can make that work. Like I said, the reason we didn't go with the groove sights is because the front sight is so tall. Without filing it clear down to nothing, you would just be back where you were to start with. All right, one more try. Let's see what we can do here. If this don't work, we may just call it a day. By the way, unloading this gun just like any other revolver, or any other Colt style revolver anyway. But I am glad to say that we finally have the thing back in time. It hasn't been giving us any issues there. Go ahead and load her up. Okay, one more try. It looks like we're slightly more aligned than we used to be, except for I see the front of that thing sticking way out there. All right. And click. All right, guys. Let's go take a look. That's much better. I can live with that a little better. Like I said, when I took that sight off, when I was just doing it with the groove sight, that groove sight was much wider and flatter than the standard Heritage Rough Rider pistol. Like, it's made to have that sight on, and the front sight was too high. And we got all over here. This is a decent group. It's about an inch, with the exception of this flyer, and as Paul Harrell would say, yes, that's just me, and yes, that is annoying. But that little grip right there will do. I do know now that it's shooting a little low. I can bring up. All right, now that I got that sight driven way over to the side, the gun is in time, the bluing still looks terrible. Now we can do a review on it. Let's shoot some stuff. All right, guys, we're gonna kick safety off here. Like I said, you don't wanna hold it in front of the cylinder. That's why they have this. But in reality, once you actually hold one of these, it's not that bad. And now that we got the sights in place, this is actually a fun rifle to shoot. All right, guys, so what this is it's not based on anything technically historical. We had the Patterson revolving carbines in the 1840s. We have the root revolving carbines in the 1850s, and later on in the 1860s, Remington came out with a revolving carbine that was rapidly converted to cartridge. And so almost all of them were black powder, muzzle loading, cap and ball, with one or two of them being cartridge. However, there is a couple of Manhattan Arms 1851 Navy style revolvers from the 1850s and 60s that are very rare. Wild Snappers showed me some pictures of them. However, there never really was a single action Army with a stock like this per se. Now, they did have stocks that attached to the regular pistol grip, but as far as I know, they didn't make one just like this. So, you know, it is a lot of fun though. It's a good idea, with the exception of that powder and the fact that your face is so close to that cylinder. I can feel blowback even out of this standard 22 with even CCI standard velocity, which are low velocity rounds. I can feel a lot of blowback right on my face. And so, you know, let's shoot it some more. All right, guys, this is why you don't want to have your hands in front of that cylinder. You'll get powder burn just like this bag did. And it was actually quiet. The cylinder was a little ways behind it. Let's move on up. Now we're going to shoot some higher powered Aguila 22s. They're actually closer to true standard velocity. And we're just gonna dump out 5. You know, I've only been shooting this a little today. You can already see this bluing is wearing off. I don't know what the deal is. I've had a lot of Heritages, or shot a lot of them anyway, and none of them have had bluing issues like this. It's almost like paint. And I did order this from a second party, but it was in the box new, so I'm just gonna load all 6 of these. It was in the box new, so this shouldn't have technically gotten by Heritage's quality control. Like I said, I know it is only a $250 gun, but when you get into the rifle world now, you're not in just the handgun revolver world. This gun is full price compared to, say, your Marlin Model 60 or a Savage Bolt Action 22. It's gone. Oh yeah. Might have been a dud. What? Did it click? I never even heard it go off. That's the trouble with wearing earplugs with 22s. Sometimes you don't hear that round. So that should be this round right here. And sure enough, empty casing. All right, guys. So this is a good time to point out how dangerous squib loads can be. And we are going to, it may have gone all the way out the barrel. I don't know. I didn't even hear it. All I heard was the hammer fall, but Caleb says he heard it. So you just push that button over there. As Duke Fraser says, pop the dinky over. Put it on half cock. Open this up. And the cylinder's clear. Now I'm gonna do something that's not very safe, but I'm doing it with no cylinder in and no way for it to fire. I'm gonna look down the barrel. And we are clear. So the bullet obviously went clear out the end of the barrel. It was just a underpowered load. Always be careful of those squib loads. You don't want to stack one right on top of the other in a barrel, even with a 22. Well, it obviously made it barely out. Okay, what were we shooting at? Okay, back over here to these steel targets. Yeah, this gun is actually a whole lot of fun once you kind of get things lined out with it. And like I said, it's just any gun company can have a quality control issue every now and then. It's just part of life. And the majority of these you find are going to be perfectly fine. All right, let's put 5 more in. I'm going to do just 5 this time. Always want to be careful of them squib loads. That's one reason why earplugs can be a detriment if you don't hear it. I did not hear it fire, I just heard the hammer fall. Well, that's interesting. All right. Now we're down on an empty. All right, can you see the rail? All right, here we go on the rail. Maybe. Uh-oh. Got a little cocky, got a little high. All right. What else can I tell you about this gun? Well, you know, it's the one thing it's got going for it, even though, like I said, it is in the price range of some other 22 rifles, it's unique. You show up to the range on 22 Plinking Day, not everybody's gonna have one of these, so kind of fun. Let's go over here and let's see about these bottles on this side. All right, I have 6 rounds in the chamber, 6 rounds in the cylinder, I mean, only 1 per chamber, and safety on. All right, safety off. Let's see if we can work over 6 bottles. You know, I wiggled that thing. It is a little more difficult to shoot than a standard rifle, partially because of the blowback that's hitting my face. And click. Let's reload. I only had 5 in there. I thought I had 6. I have seen people who shoot, especially the black powder versions of these, the cap and ball versions, I should say. They will sometimes wear a mask just because of that blowback. It does hit your face a little right there. All right, guys, I will say this. Most of the time when you shoot a handgun or a revolver, you're holding it out about that far from your face. So that cylinder's a lot further away. When you're up here like this, shooting on this, that concussion, even with a 22, is pretty insane. So I'll be excited to see what happens when I get my hands on a cap and ball, a full power cap and ball revolving rifle like this. Uh-oh. All right, guys, I do have to say that a full-size 22 rifle, not revolver, is more accurate, but at the same time, this thing's a lot of fun. What do you say we let Caleb shoot it? All right, guys, Caleb's gonna give the Heritage Rough Rider Rancher a try. Oh, one-handed. Seems like that's how you should shoot it, huh? Go for the 30. And he hit it. All right, guys, I'm on safety. Got 6 rounds for 6 targets, hopefully this time. I hit her. It's amazing how 22s just don't drain them like 38s. Now, if you sit here and watch, they're gonna start losing a lot of liquid. But we could load up and shoot them again. A couple of them are just nicks. I'm noticing something interesting though. I'm not sure which one it is. There's possibly 2 chambers in this that are throwing the rounds way to the left, like 3 or 4 inches. and I'm not sure which ones they are. And who knows, it might be me, but let's try this again. We're gonna hold right on them a little bit. And we hit them all again. They're just draining slow. All right, we got a couple more rounds here. See, we've done about everything with the exception to go out to 100 yards. Am I feeling lucky? I'm definitely gonna pop my sights up a couple because it is shooting a little bit low. 100-yard target. This is just me being a glutton for punishment. I have raised my sights just a hair. Heard it. All right, guys, we're about done here today. Final thoughts on this. Man, I wish Heritage would have done a little better job on this because, like I said, I didn't have one in my local store, so I had to order it online. And you can see now we finally kind of got that in the center, but you can see just how far off that dovetail has to be because it's cut crooked. You can see the front of it hanging off on that edge. But what do I think about the gun in general besides that? And besides the fact that I had to put it in time? It's not a bad gun. It's not nearly as accurate as, say, the Henry. I can shoot the Henry a lot better for some reason than I can this, but it also may be the fact that I'm getting some splashback in my face and I might be flinching just a little bit. So, that being said, for $260, you're gonna get close to $300 with tax and whatnot probably by the time you pay for everything. It does come with a sling. I didn't put the sling on it because it was just kind of flopping around in the way. It goes back here, has a little barrel band that goes on there. If you got that, I think it's a good deal, especially if you got one with straight sights, because not everybody's gonna have one of these. And one of my favorite movies is the John Wayne movie El Dorado, where old Bull is running around with a 1855 Colt revolving rifle, and it's actually the full stock musket version. And I've always loved that. Especially when he's ringing the bells. So, you know, this kind of gives you that feeling. I would say that we're gonna have to do some work. Now, like I said, stay tuned to the channel because the reason I'm not sending this back to Heritage is because I'm gonna take this gun and we're gonna make about 2 different guns out of it that are gonna be really cool. And matter of fact, one of them is gonna be a completely unique firearm, almost built from the ground up by Snapper. If you guys haven't checked him out, go check out his channel. It is Snapper's Antique Firearms Unlimited. And he does a lot of gunsmithing stuff over there. And we're gonna do something really cool with part of this gun that hasn't been done probably in, probably 175 years maybe. And we're gonna do that. And then we're going to take it and we're gonna make something special out of this bunt line and make it back into a revolver and make kind of a bunt line special deal. But anyway, that's all I have on the Heritage Rough Rider Rancher. Trust in God, keep your powder dry. Bye.